Let's get into a 15-minute workout here where we are going to focus on balance, core, and muscles. We're going to start with a bit of a warm-up to loosen up. We're going to do 10 shoulder rolls backward, taking some deep breaths. Try to relax. Your feet should be hip-width apart and your toes slightly turned out. 10 rolls forward. Try to really lift those shoulders up and around to feel your scapula rotating and stretching out all those muscles in your back. We're then going to move into big arm circles. So take your time with these. Please feel free to pause the video at any stage so that you can complete the exercises if I am going a bit too fast. So with 10 big circles back and then 10 big circles forward. And again, take your time and try to really exaggerate your stretch with this beautiful chest and shoulder stretch here. Next, we're going to move into a squeeze. So we're just focusing on the squeeze of the shoulder blades together, opening up the chest and feeling those back muscles working. Deep breaths, and we're doing 10 of those as well. Nice big squeeze there, opening up that chest and breathing out as you open up. Next, we're going to lift our shoulders up toward the earlobes. So a big shrug, getting into the neck, getting into the shoulders, and all the while your abdominals should be working to assist you with your balance. You might like to set yourself up next to a table or a bench top because the next few exercises might require a bit of assistance with your balance. So don't be shy to be next to a wall. We're going to move into a neck stretch here. So we're just dropping that ear to the shoulder and taking some deep breaths to stretch out the neck. Make sure the arm that's down is stretched out beautifully there. Again, nice deep breaths. We will finish off the neck stretch here and we'll move into some wrist rotations. So we'll do 10 circles in one direction, which should feel fairly easy. And then I always feel a little bit strange trying to change direction. So just a nice big twist there, loosening up through the wrist and very gently rotating round. And then stretching out your fingers. We're going to do 10 big finger stretches there, in and out. Deep breaths again, and that should be a nice release through the fingertips. Give your body a quick little shake and we'll get into our first exercise. Here we go. Our first balance exercise is going to be walking in a straight line, and depending on the amount of space that you have, for the next 30 seconds, I'd like you to go heel to toe, traveling forward and backward with a minimum of 6 steps forward and 6 steps back, ideally 8 to 10. You've got 30 seconds. Again, feel free to pause the video if you need to, especially if you need to take a break between the exercises or to set yourself up so that you can complete the exercise correctly. We're now going to balance on one leg. Now this is a tricky one and you might need to be near a wall or a bench top. I'd like you to aim for 30 seconds on one leg. So the first time you do this, you might not last very long, but gradually as you go over and over this video, in time you should be able to last longer as you improve your balance. So 30 seconds is quite a long time here, but that is the goal, to stand on one leg for 30 seconds. And you will be able to see now as we go to the other leg, there is always going to be one leg that is stronger than the other. So take your time. And as I said, stand next to the wall so you've got that support just in case you need it. Try not to rely too much on the bench top or the wall, but it's there in case you need it. If you need to pop your foot down, if you need to catch yourself, of course, do so. Your safety is my number one priority. So as we finish up here, we're going to move straight into our walks again. So heel to toe, standing nice and tall. And as you progress with the video, in the future, I'd like you to try not to look down as well. So just looking straight ahead, trying to think about your posture, keeping your chest up, keeping your back nice and straight, engaging your core. And eventually you might get to a point where you don't even need to use your arms at all. You can pop your hands on your hips and continue with this exercise as you get more confident with it. So finishing this one off, our next exercise is going to be a leg abduction. So we're going to balance on one leg and we're going to take the other leg out wide, keeping that leg straight if you can. Now, if you are new to this exercise, you might find that you need to hold onto the wall We don't want the body to be swaying or the hips to be twisting. We just want to focus on keeping the body nice and tall. Lift your head up toward the sky or the ceiling and just abducting that leg out to the side, and you should feel that through your thigh. Trying the other leg when you're ready for 30 seconds. Try to keep it rhythmic as you did with the first leg so that you don't end up doing too many on one side compared to the other. We want to try to keep it even. You might actually like to count 15 per leg and pause the video. So finishing this one off with deep breaths, standing nice and tall, and again using your core to balance. And now we're going to move into a new series of exercises, starting with calf raises. So if you need to hold onto the table or if you need to hold onto the wall, we are on both feet, lifting up onto the balls of your feet, elevating the body from your head all the way up, lifting up nice and tall onto the balls of your feet. Those heels are coming off the ground, of course, and we're trying to balance and use our core and use our calves for our calf raises. Now the next exercise, you can move around if you want to. We're going to do knee lifts. So it's a basic march, but I'd like you to try and elevate the knee as high as you can. So this activates our hip flexors. It also activates the abdominals. So you should feel that as you start to lift the legs, that your stomach muscles are working, and your goal is to get the knee as high as you can. So take little breaths if you need to. Your heart rate should start to increase with this one as well as you're lifting those heavy legs up in line with your hips if you can. Take some deep breaths again. And now we're going into butt kicks or leg curls, they're also called. And this provides a great stretch for the front of the leg, which is the quadricep. So your goal is to get your heels up to your bottom as high as you can. Depending on your flexibility, you may not be able to get too high, but take your time with this. And again, hold onto the wall, face the wall if you need to. You can prop your hands up onto the wall and trying to kick your bottom there. We're going to repeat all of those exercises again now. So starting with our calf raises, lifting high up onto the balls of your feet. As you progress with the video, you might like to try and balance for a little bit longer. So staying nice and tall on the balls of your feet and trying to hold it for a few seconds and not dropping down onto the heels so quickly. Lifting up nice and tall here. Again, repeating those beautiful calf raises. And again into the knee lifts. Feel free to move yourself around the space that you have there. Be careful of any furniture or anything that might be in the way or any hanging lights. As we start to progress this, we're going to lift the opposite arm to the leg. See if you can get a nice big stretch up toward the ceiling. So this is a great exercise for coordination and balance. And of course, again, focusing on that leg lift. Nice and high. Into the butt kicks, again, 30 seconds. Stretching out the quadriceps, lifting those heels up toward your glutes. And glutes are the gluteus maximus, the big glute muscles. And again, trying to balance there if you can. Try not to hold onto the wall. Try not to rock your body from side to side too much, but actually standing up nice and tall and not leaning from side to side. Now the last part of our series here will require a wall, so you might need to pause the video and move yourself over to a wall where you have some space so that you can start with what we call wall push-offs, so wall push-ups. Now your hands shouldn't be too high or too low. They need to be just in line with your chest or slightly lower, because when you take your legs back onto your tippy toes, you're going to need to be able to bring your forehead forward toward the wall. Now, just in case you've got wrist issues, you can see here I'm on my fist to start, and the arms are out wide, and we start with our wall push-off. So the idea is to keep your back flat without sticking your bottom out. Keep the whole body flat like a plank of wood, and on your tippy toes, you just bring your body forward and push off. So the idea is to use your core muscles, your abdominals, and of course your arms and your chest, which recruits your biceps and triceps as you push. So that is our wall push off, and then we're going to rotate our body, spin around, and we're going into what's called a wall sit. Now you need to be really careful with this because it is hard to get off the wall once we finish. So don't go down too low, because the lower you go, the harder it is. And it's a great challenge once you are confident with this exercise. But for now, don't go down too low. Pushing your back flat against the wall. You should feel your spine nicely pressed against the wall. Try not to use your hands. You might like to place your hands across the chest. And finishing that one off, we're going to go back to our wall press or wall push off there. So don't worry too much about the time. We've still got the clock ticking for 30-second intervals, but we're going to keep moving here as many as you can within that 30-second range that is left. So with 10 more seconds to go, try not to bounce too much. Don't use too much momentum, but actually focus on using your muscles. And finishing off here, the 30 seconds. And taking your time here to set yourself up. 30 seconds again on the clock for our wall sit. You might like to try and challenge yourself to get a little bit lower. Taking some deep breaths. We are going to do one more set of these. One more push off the wall and one more wall sit. So let's finish this one off here. Challenge yourself, 10 more seconds. Stay with it. Deep breaths, you should really be feeling that in your legs and in your glutes as well. So in those glute muscles again. So let's do one more set here. This time our hands are going to be more narrow. So it's more of a tricep wall push up instead of a chest push. We're using our triceps. You can see the elbows staying really close to the body. So this is actually a much safer option for people with any shoulder issues. So just be careful with that, and you can choose your option here when you replay the video next time again. But the chest press wide is a much more challenging exercise, which I'd like you to work toward. And here we are for our very last wall sit. Again, see if you can challenge yourself to get a little bit lower and challenge yourself with that wall sit. The hard part is pushing yourself off to get off. Might even help to have a chair in front of you to assist yourself to get off the wall there. And our last few seconds, and we'll finish off with a very quick stretch. You might like to continue with some other stretches, so have a look for some other options to stretch. Just rolling your shoulders back there. We're starting with a shoulder stretch, arm across the chest and pulling that elbow across the body. And give that a nice big push across. Other arm goes across, reach under the arm and pull that elbow, feeling a nice big stretch in the shoulder there. Taking some deep breaths. Remember, if you can't feel it, there's probably nothing happening, so you do need to really exaggerate these. Clasping your hands together behind your back, opening up the chest. Deep breath, stretching out through the shoulders and chest once again. And then bringing the hands together out in front of you and have a little bit of a wiggle to stretch out through your back. Well done. I hope that you enjoyed these exercises. We will do a side bend here as well before we finish off. Your big shoulder rolls back and then a big side bend, reaching up and over. Remember to keep pushing yourself each time you do this workout. Try to get stronger or better. The idea really is to keep pushing yourself so that you see the progress, that you feel you're getting better at the exercises. Every couple of days. Well done, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me on this little journey, and I hope to see you again soon. Stay well, stay safe, and stay active.